The NBC hit show This Is Us is on its final season, with the series finale due to be aired on May 24, 2022. Justin Hartley, who plays the fan-favorite character Kevin, has revealed that there was a surprise in store for fans. What changes are happening to Kevin's life? Does he get a new romantic interest? Stick around and we've got you covered. This Is Us is a slow-burning show that's high on drama, tragedy, and character development. It first hit the air in 2016 and has been renewed for 6 seasons. The show follows the lives of the Pearson family, the children Kevin, Kate, and Randall, and their parents Jack and Rebecca Pearson across the years. Though the show is set in the time period of 2016 to 2022, the show is noted for its extensive use of flashbacks and flash-forwards to highlight important events in the family story. Fans have been vested in the lives of the Pearsons, since the show reflects the complexities of life and relationships. This show has a simple message: life is a journey consisting of little moments, and these moments can be happy, sad, or painful. So first, what we know of Kevin's journey. As we go through the show, we see that Kevin's journey is marked by the loneliness he feels inside. During his childhood, he felt ignored by his parents. Despite going on to become a famous actor, he suffered from a form of the imposter syndrome. A lot of Kevin's actions and mistakes are all linked to a sense of loneliness and his feelings of inadequacy. He had a deep-seated connection with his father and was affected by his father's death. All his life, he wanted to live up to his father's legacy. Inspired by his father, Kevin started a non-profit construction company that employs military veterans. However, he's faced multiple personal challenges while running the company. Fans empathized with how Kevin struggles with issues throughout the show, and it was only in his 40s Kevin realized that he was the creator of his troubles. The recently released episode, titled The Guitar Man, has certain big revelations. While sitting in a hospital, Kevin realizes that his life was not entirely about his story. Rather, it was the story of his relationships with his family and society. This is a major breakthrough. Till now, one could argue that he lived his life as if it was a movie and he was the protagonist. Next, masters at crafting beautiful relationships. The show has been praised by critics and fans for its depiction of relationships. Usually TV shows and movies depict the breakdown of relationships by way of implosion. A person is caught having an affair or a massive relationship-ending argument takes place. However, this show takes a more measured look at relationships. Before we look at Kevin's relationships, let's consider some of the other classic relationships in the show. The writers of this show are definitely not afraid to take risks, and they excel at writing about relationships. Let's look at Kate Pearson. Kate Pearson struggled with obesity since her childhood. In the pilot episode of the series, we see Kate going to a support group for people suffering from weight-related issues. At the support group, she meets Toby, and a relationship that spans the entire series is spawned. We see them get married, then break up for a brief period, then decide to come back together. However, in episode 9 of season 6, titled The Hill, we see Kate coming to the realization that she was always held back by negative emotions and self-doubt, and she slowly grows into the person she was meant to be. Unfortunately, she also realizes that it was probably the end for her relationship with Toby, since they were moving in separate directions. Fans have compared Kate's relationship to a Shakespearean tragedy. Randall and Beth Pearson were ranked by Entertainment Weekly as number 4 amongst the top TV couples. This series beautifully portrays the ups and downs of their relationship. In episode 17 of season 3, which was titled R&B, Randall and Beth came to a realization about their relationship. Beth remarks, "We have been having the same fight since we met." Let's dive into Kevin's relationships. Kevin has had multiple partners throughout the show's run and has unique relationships with all of them. First, we have Sophie, his high school girlfriend turned ex-wife. Their relationship was cut short due to Kevin's marital infidelities. Later on, they made up again. However, Kevin's alcoholism led to the disintegration of the relationship. Kevin then started dating Zoe, but they didn't last long, since Kevin wanted to settle down and have children, while Zoe wasn't ready for that commitment. Kevin then had a one-night stand with Madison, and Madison found herself pregnant with twins. They were due to get married, but it gets called off, since Kevin was unable to tell her that he loved her. Lastly, there's Cassidy, who's akin to a friend with benefits. Cassidy is a war veteran who is suffering from trauma. Now, Cassidy brings a new dimension since she did not have any link to the Pearsons. Sophie and Madison were Kate's friends, and Kevin met them through Kate, whereas Zoe was Beth Pearson's sister. Further, certain elements of their relationship are platonic, and they seem to see each other as colleagues. What did Justin Hartley reveal? Justin Hartley recently revealed that he felt Kevin's love life would have a weird ending, and it was totally in character for Kevin to make a left-field choice in terms of this relationship partner. He also hinted it could be possible that Kevin could choose a completely different direction and decided to stay single. The actor went on to say that Kevin does ultimately find happiness, but it might not be with someone that the fans want. This is not surprising because at present, the fans are divided into 2 teams. One team wants Kevin and Sophie to get together, while the other wants Kevin and Madison together. Hartley does note that Kevin and Sophie have been through a lot. About the possibility of Kevin and Sophie getting together, he said that there were a lot of people who wouldn't want that to happen. Fans would wonder why Kevin Kevin and Sophie would want to ruin each other's lives. Also, their relationship had not worked out on multiple instances. Hartley also mentioned that Kevin and Madison have a family together and they got along well, so it would be difficult to choose between Madison and Sophie. Hartley has gone on to say that the ending was going to be very satisfying, and you're going to understand what happened, and you're going to say, well, that makes a lot of sense. Now, what we know so far. The show has given us a flash forward to the year 2034. Here we see Kevin and his twins with Rebecca Pearson. Kevin is seen wearing a wedding ring, so we can safely assume that Kevin does get married at some point in the future. In Season 6, Episode 5, titled Episode Heart and Soul, we see that the relationship between Cassidy and Kevin had run its course. Cassidy shuts down Kevin's attempts to kindle some romance. She went on to say that Kevin was chasing the wrong blonde in the wrong city. This tells us that Kevin and Cassidy are unlikely to end up as a couple. We know that Madison has moved on with her life after their marriage was called off at the end of Season 5, and now Madison is dating Eli. In Episode 6 of Season 6, Our Little Island Girl Part 2, we see that there was a confrontation between Kevin and Eli. Eli tells Kevin that he was committed to Madison, and there was no need for Kevin to bide his time waiting for Eli to go away. Kevin understands and acknowledges Eli. This development would mean that the possibility of Madison being the romantic interest would be low. Kate and Sophie were childhood best friends. However, they had a falling out after Kate had attempted to conceal the fact that Kevin was cheating on Sophie. In Season 6, Episode 6, we see that Kate apologizes to Sophie for being a bad friend. Sophie, in turn, tells Kate that they would always be friends. It's possible that this reconciliation is taking place as part of a larger story arc where Sophie and Kevin get back together. This reunion would not be surprising. Let's look at Season 1, Episode 13, titled 3 Sentences. In this episode, Kevin was caught in a romantic triangle between two love interests and couldn't choose between them. He then visualizes the person he would like to spend his life with, and he chooses a third person, Sophie. It could mean that Sophie was his soulmate all along. However, it also shows us that Kevin's decision-making is rather eccentric. Alexandra Breckenridge, who plays Sophie, had revealed last year that she hoped that Kevin and Sophie would end up together. She also teased fans, saying, "I know certain things that I'm not allowed to talk about, but we don't know if they'll come to fruition or not." And that's a wrap. The rumors and speculation around what happens to Kevin has sparked a lot of buzz within the fandom. Let us know your thoughts on what the future holds for Kevin. Are you Team Madison or Team Sophie? Will Kevin choose a third path and surprise us all?